Hello, creative crafters. I am welcoming you to Kat's Creations on Friday night. You're getting a little bit of a different view because we are doing a fall grapevine. It's a little hard to see what I'm doing when the camera is faced at me instead of overhead. So I hope you like this view today. Steve's doing some last minute adjustments. So, we're gonna get ready, we're gonna get going. So, some housekeeping items. If you like this design and you wanna replicate it, do me a favor and click the share button. It shares that video to your page where it's much easier for you to find once you get everything in. Most of the florals that I'm using today came from Michael's, Hobby Lobby, or Dollar Tree. So those are them, and I think there's a couple from Shinoda. Whether or not we actually incorporate everything combined, I just wanted to kind of lay it all out there. The sign that we're using today is a 10-inch round. I've been waiting to do this design so that I could find all the right things for this color palette. So this sign is from Personalize It by Pam. She is on Etsy. So if you like this sign, you can go over there and purchase that. It's in a 10-inch round, which is perfect for this 18-inch grapevine, which I have already cleaned. I take the time to do that because nobody's got time to watch someone clean all the debris out and clean everything up so that it presents well. Plus, when you're adding florals to it, it makes it so much easier to not have to deal with the debris that's stuck in there. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to attach the sign. So I am going to, when you're determining placement on this particular design, I'm actually going to kind of make the edge of my sign follow along the same lines as my grapevine. So I'm not going to put it in the center. I'm going to kind of keep it right here on the side so that it continues to follow the line, which means that we are going to be putting our wires pretty much right about here to guarantee that we hit the middle. So right here, just on the other sides of my sunflowers, I am using 1.5 millimeter metal hole punch to go ahead and add a hole right in here. And then we know we've got to get it on the opposite side of our sunflower, just like that. And then I'm going to be using 22 gauge floral wire. You can get this from Joann's. Or Michael's. I did try to order it online at Amazon, but their 22 gauge, for some reason, seems to be more along the lines of a 30 gauge. So it's not suitable. So I'd recommend that you just go in and verify that it should be the smaller the number, the thicker the wire. But in Amazon's case, it was not.
This is hi, Kat and Steve. Happy Friday from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Hi, Beth.
Hi, Beth. Welcome.
Hi, y'all. Hi, everybody. Tara, Kathy, Carla, Laura. I can't name you all. Happy Friday.
You're trying to catch everybody.
Yeah.
Let me make sure my
like
page.
And share the video. Appreciate it.
Making sure it updates. I know right before I was getting ready to go live, Facebook did an update on my iPad, and I'm like, oh no. Please don't let it be a bad update. So, when you're attaching the sign to the back, especially in this case, what I like to do is build the base of my wire by twisting right over the hole. This way it won't spin like a spinner off to the side, and then it keeps the floral wire to the back away from where we would like to see that. So I had it, I'm trying to position it where I want, which is pretty much right there. I'm going to go ahead and grab both of my floral wire ends. This is probably the most difficult part, just attaching the sign, because it needs to be in the right area. You want to make sure it's nice and snug. And if you're a beginner working on grapevine florals, or you want to start, I'm going to show you the steps that you should take in putting your grapevine together to help give you an easier way of putting your entire design together. So we're gonna just make sure that falls right
Thank you
there.
for sharing, Rita, gals.
I wanna make sure, do I want this right in here? I think I wanted it right on the edge, right there. So again, right underneath, I'm gonna make sure I get it right in between. Feed that all the way down, and then do the same on the opposite side. So rather than go around the grapevine, I'm going through all the grapevine pieces. So I'm going to push that down, and then I'm going to twist and secure my floral wire to the back. Okay, I'm going to just tuck that just in the event that I need to make any adjustments, but my sign's in place. It shouldn't go anywhere. So the next step, right? Attach your sign first, figure out where your sign's gonna go. Second will be figure out where your bow's gonna go. And generally you have an idea. You've seen a picture on Pinterest, you might have seen something walking through a floral store and you kind of know, okay, I know this wreath kind of had a sign, and had a little bit of a bow, and then it was like, boom, explosion of flowers. So the next logical step for a beginner is to attach the bow. This way you don't have to work around trying to figure out how much room do you need to have left before you have like bow space. I always say it's the width of your hands is about the spacing you want to leave. But since we're working on it from a beginning point of view, we're going to go ahead and just use the ribbon that's going to go in this design, which is all from Kringle Designs.
And I'll ask, where do you like to get your grapevines from?
I prefer Joann's or Michael's. Preferably Joann's because Michael's generally sells out of them. So Joann's is basically my go-to. I wait for them to go on sale. When they get to about $3.99 to $5.99, then I'll just order basically like 10 of them, and then I know I'm pretty much good for the season. So we are going to be using this fall plaid, and I'm going to go ahead and pull enough out here to figure out how far do I want my tails to fall. So if my bow ends roughly about here, how long do I want my tails? Do I want them long enough that we can spiral curl them? If so, then you're gonna wanna leave a little bit more of a length so that when you go and you spiral curl, you have plenty. So we'll leave it this way just for doing spiral curls. We can always come back if you don't like it and it feels too long, you can always cut it later. However, it's difficult to add in length if you've already cut them at that length. So this is measured at 15 inches.
That's why I was doing my grapevine wreath after watching your tutorial on it. It's very cathartic and I love how it looks.
Oop, let me go ahead and do this. Yes, so I highly recommend it because it's the last thing you want to see. And you'll see that even as I'm putting stuff in, you know, little pieces will fall up here and there. Just because as you're poking through the grapevine, you might be splitting little twigs or you might be loosening something that didn't come through on the initial clean. So the first thing you want to do is dovetail the edge, which is take your wired edges, bring those together, and we're going to cut from the folded side to the wired point, just like this. Nice, perfect dovetail. 15 inches, remember, is what we determined. So we're going to use our bow dabra. We're going to place this inside. And then for about a 15-inch tail, we want to go about 5 inches for our loop length. So what that means is bring your bow dabra back, line it up on your 10-inch mark, pull your ribbon out to where it lines up the loop length on 5 inches. And then we're going to do that a couple times. So we're going to do 2 on each side, but you always want to make sure you get that first measurement down. I keep having to make small little minute micro adjustments. So I'm almost coming to the end of this ribbon, which is nice because that big spool takes up a lot of space. Now, I'm not measuring the second one because the bottom one is already out to 5 inches. I just put my fingers in the top and pull to verify that I have them both at the same length, just like this. And then we're going to pull this out so that we get 15 inches. Cut it, do our dovetail split, just like that. And the first one's down. So I'm keeping these more fall colors, less a summer color. Although you could use this design to transition you from summer to fall. Let's go ahead and cut the folded part off. And then this one, we're gonna do to probably about 12 inches, but we've got to dovetail our edge first. There's that.
Ravina, yeah, it's 1.5 ribbon.
Yeah, I prefer when I'm doing a lot of florals, I don't want my ribbon to be as big as some of my florals. So I want my ribbon to be an accent, not the star of the show. So I prefer to go smaller. And then we're gonna bring this one in to about 4.5 inches. So we need to find out a little bit longer. We're gonna do double on this one as well. Okay, let's verify we've got 4.5, which we do. And then we're just gonna do one on the other side, one on the other. I love this rust colored ribbon. And then we will make sure we've got a 12-inch tail here. Dovetail the edge. Okay, now we're gonna come in really quick and kind of shorten those up. So I'm just gonna do a single layer but shorter tails. So all we're using is 2 colors on this ribbon. This one's gonna be probably about 9 inches. We're just gonna do 2 loops at 10. Or 2 loops, sorry, at 4.5 inches, 4 inches, not at 10. There's one, just trying to make sure I got that in. When it gets short on the roll, it doesn't like to come out, it likes to stay in. So 4 inches in. I think we said 9 inches out. Dovetail. That one is finished. And then we're gonna do one more with the rest. This is gonna be cut short.
Where's the sign from again?
Huh?
Where's the sign from again?
Personalize it by Pam. Yeah. So let's go 8. And then these, we're gonna do 3.5-inch loop. Just to finish out that ribbon. Let's make sure we got a good twist. 3.5. Make sure. And then back out to 8. In. And then that one is done. So like I said, both of the ribbons are from Crinkle Designs. If you like the ribbon, that's where you can find them. And we are going to use a brown pipe cleaner because this is going to go right into the inside. So we're just going to pick that up, transfer it, drop our pipe cleaner in. You could use zip ties, you could use floral wire, you could use binding wire. You can use whatever you'd like. I prefer pipe cleaners because they're easier on your hands. Okay, and because we know this bow needs to have all the tails down, because we don't want them all like up and around, I'm gonna pull all my tails down. We're not fluffing on the bow dabber, we're actually fluffing right here on, do I want this one? I don't really want to put it right over a one of these sections of ribbon, because then it elevates it a little too high. I like them to stay a little snug to the form. So right down in, give it a couple good twists. This one we shouldn't be moving, but I'll show you what it looks like temporarily, because we haven't added florals, although we will be fluffing this probably a couple more times. So I'm just moving my tails around. There's that. Flip these up. Pull that back down. Open all the loops. Want that one to go a little higher. This one go a little bit lower.
Shelby, that's kind of a good idea.
What's that?
Have you tried your bow dab out on a Lazy Susan? It has to be a small one though.
Yeah, I turn mine all the time, so it's kind of weird for me. I don't know why I started doing that. It was just easier for me to form my bows. So here is all of our, these are all going to get adjusted once we get all of our florals in. And again, like I said, we'll be fluffing, but we've got to get all of our florals in. So what this did is for a beginner, it helps you to know where does your florals need to end. So as you can see right here is my end point. And then you have to figure out, how far do you want it to go? Do you want to see any of the grapevine? Do you not want to see any of the grapevine? That is your determination point. As a beginner, what I did is I put all my florals in place, then I would go back, pull them out one at a time, and then glue them in. As you get more proficient, you'll probably just glue as you go, because you'll start to realize, had I just started gluing when I was putting them in, it all comes together in a really great design, and I should just go with that. So when you're thinking florals, you need to think of 3 different types. You need to think of a focal point flower, something that's going to draw your attention to the florals, and it usually needs to be something fairly large. Now Michael's had a bouquet kind of put together, which I've already broken apart. Let me see if I can show you what it looked like kind of together, because I was kind of playing with all the pieces beforehand. So let me show you. This is what Michael's kind of put together already. So it's kind of like this bouquet like this. So you buy it like that for, I think Michael's right now is putting all their fall flowers on sale for 40% off. So that's a really good deal instead of paying full price. So I have, as I broke it all down, I have one really large orange sunflower. I didn't want yellow because I'm going more towards fall, like beginning of fall all the way to late fall. So I have one big one, 2 small ones. I tend to go light on top and heavy on the bottom, which means that I'm going to put more florals on the bottom than I will on the top. So I'm going to start with my large focal flower. You're going to want to cut the stem down, and you can kind of just lay it in there and figure out, okay, where do I want my sunflowers to go? These do come with their little respective leaves at the bottom. So I might want to bring them, I like to bring them closer to the bow for the bigger And then as we add medium and small size stuff, that's going to kind of feather out towards the edge. So you don't want to put something really big way at the end. You want to kind of keep it towards the bow. Like if they were growing that way in real life, odds are that's probably how it's going to go. So I want this one a little bit closer because I've got that branch right there. Can't do much with it. So I need to get this down so that this is your look. The great thing about using flowers that are on wire is that, you know, once you glue them in place, you can bend them. You can bend it a little bit further. You might bend this one a little bit in so that flowers, when you're looking at them growing in a garden, are never perfectly growing straight up. They kind of like dangling over to the side, kind of making a way for something else. So for me, I like this look. So I'm going to take my first one. I don't want to make sure that my stems are too long, but just enough to grab. And I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to slide that right inside here. Okay, gonna pull my avocado colored leaves out. I love that color when it comes to this. So avocado and orange, great combination. Okay, I'm gonna pull these ones towards the bottom, just like that. I'm gonna go up to the top. I am gonna find the leaves that came on that pig. I actually had them, hang on. I just did the bottom of all my other pigs. Well, this is going towards something else, so obviously this one did not, but I want something that has that color. There we go. So just something with the avocado green. Again, we're pushing towards the center of our design. We'll turn that around. There's that look. So 4 or 3 focal flowers. So when you're thinking of focal, you can add as many as you'd like, you know, but I would stop at an odd number. Why? Because your eye is always drawn towards odd things. You know, we find things that are symmetrical, even numbers, those are pleasing to the eye. When we see something with an odd number, we have a tendency of like, okay, we look longer. So I've got my 3. Then what you want to do is figure out a medium-sized floral. Thankfully, because Michael's put that together, they're already done for me. I have them in the red mum and I have them in yellow mums. So these are gonna kind of, you know, play with them and figure out, you know, do you like, and it comes with the fall leaves too. Do you like this a little bit more in here? Or would you rather see red in there? Play with it until you figure out which one do you like a little bit better. At first I thought I liked the yellow, but I'm like leaning towards the red for some reason. So
Beth uses the Gorilla glue sticks and the glue scope. She just cuts them up in pieces and let them
melt.
on and lets them melt in.
Yeah, I'll show you here in a second. So I'm gonna pull this back. I'm gonna tuck this one in so it's leaning a little bit towards the inside, not smush, leaving a little bit of a gap. So let's see if I can show you. You can kind of see where I've added my glue sticks. I kind of cut them in little pieces so they melt quicker, but I just cut them up and stick them in there. Okay, now I'm gonna take this yellow, do the same thing. Do you want the yellow down here? Do you want the yellow maybe more towards the front? I kind of feel like it's fighting the sign at that point, so I'm gonna put it way back here. So I'm gonna lift this up and I'm gonna slide that right inside. You can position your leaves whichever way you want. I don't know why this one's got such a long stem on it. I'm gonna go in. There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna have my leaves kind of come to the bottom, just like that. So I'm gonna add filler flowers to the top. So up here, again, I try to do a little bit opposite, so I don't want to put the red there. I'm going to put the red to the outside and I'll add the yellow to the inside. So we're going red to the outside. Pull those down. And we're going to take our yellow. And the yellow is going to kind of, let's see, go in here somewhere. Something like this. We'll have to manipulate our florals, but something like that. So we got to cut it way down. I try not to keep my stems too long, otherwise they have a tendency of poking out the back, which isn't a major issue. You just have to go back in and trim those.
Nancy, she keeps her temperature probably between 3/4 and all the way high.
Yes. One click down from going as high up as it'll go. Okay, so we've got medium and we've got focal. Now what you have to do is you have to find out something that you can either add a couple more medium-sized flowers, or you can go, step down even smaller, which in this case, I'm going to kind of come in here with this eucalyptus. It's a fall colored eucalyptus. So I'm trying to figure out where's it going to fall.
Shirley asked, where can I get a glue pot like yours?
You can go to Amazon and you just look up a 7-inch electric skillet and it'll come with a lid. That's exactly all you'll need.
Do you have it on your public group, your affiliate thing?
No, I do not. No. It's not in, Amazon has a weird way of how you share. So I don't really have a place. I just have to repost the Amazon shop again if I wanted to. Actually, I want to take and position these under my bar. So I'm going to add a little bit of the fall eucalyptus. It comes just like this from Michael's. So I just find the smaller pieces and remove those. And then what I do in order to get the backs to be in the front is I just turn them because they're on those little stems. So wherever you're seeing the back part of your leaves, just take them and turn them. Also, if you have your leaves that maybe you've had them in storage for a while, you're pulling out your fall picks, you're like, oh, that would have been really nice because I have like this curl or a fold in my leaf. If you take a steamer, a small closed steamer, and steam them, it will take the folds out of all of your greenery. So we're going to take this and kind of tuck that in right about there. See how it makes it look pretty. I'm going to add.
Yep, Shirley, the sign is all metal. It's stenciled, it's painted and stenciled on the sign, so it's all metal.
Yep, it's all together weatherproof. So without looking at my bows, without the tails, what we want to do is looking at the longest part of our bow design. We want to kind of keep everything flowing in the same dimension. We don't want to have anything sticking way out the bottom because then it draws your eye to the fact that something's not right. It should have all been fairly, keep it close, keep it all together. So Watch your placement and keep your placement along a natural line. You know, if we have something like this out, that's fine. Just make sure that we're gonna fill this area as we work our way around the sign. Okay?
Hi, Peggy. Wow, Linda said it's 106 up in Wenatchee, Washington. Not on the dry side.
Yeah, I know, but it's still not normal for them. So we'll take another couple pieces of this. And then we added one here. I think I'm gonna take this one and tuck it in right below my bow. Yeah, see? Do that and then just be like, okay, I like the way that looks. So once you find it and you like the way it looks, then you're like, okay, it's time for me to glue that in place. So I'm just gonna lift this up. I wanna go under the next one so that we have filler. So I'm gonna take, twist.
I was going to ask, hey guys, just tuned in. How big are your loops on the bows?
It varies. So I started at 5 and then I went down to 4.5, 4, and then 3.5 by the time I finished. Okay. And then we have another one of these, which I'm going to do the same thing here, different way. I'm just going to add my leaves right in here. So before I do that, turn everything around so that it's right side up. See, it's the back. We don't want to see that. We want to see the front. So just twist them around because they're on those little pieces. So we can keep them all in the same direction. Once we've got those in place, we're going to move our bow. Try and go look for a good grasp. Okay, so we're still filling that space right under here. Okay, I think I'm fine with these. I'll set these aside. I have a couple of really pretty. We have rust colored mums. These are also from Michael's. So private group members.
Nick's on.
Hi Nick, how are you? Okay, so we're going with mums. Make sure you push your greenery up. Pick out however many you want. I'm pretty picky on the ones I like. So we're gonna push them all up so that we have really nice greenery. I think I'm gonna do 2 at the bottom, maybe 1 or 2 at the top. So push greenery up, snip them. And I was pretty picky when I was picking them out from Michael's. I had to make sure that all my florals had their floral heads on them. So we can kind of come in here and kind of figure out what you want to see where. You know, do I want to see, you know, my mums come down here? Do I want to see it a little closer to my eucalyptus? We can bring that a little closer and save the space for something else. Make sure your greenery stays.
Teresa said, Kat, where can we send pictures of the things we have made?
You can send it to my email at info@catscreationsandmore.com. I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna attach a mum there. And I'm gonna tuck one down in here. It's so nice when you have your florals that are on wires so that we can bend them in whatever position we want. So I'm going to move these 2 in place.
Rosemary said, love the colors. Yeah, I love the fall colors.
So do I. I love fall. So don't pack them so full that you can't come in and add other things like your filler flowers. So just like this. Okay, we've got our mums. I'm gonna go ahead and add this one to the bottom.
Angie, she actually uses a hole punch, a little small metal hole punch.
To punch holes in the sign?
Punch holes in the sign, and
Yes.
then she uses her floral wire to attach the sign down into the back of the grapevine.
Yes.
And she just kind of, once she gets it tight in there, she just kind of cuts it, snips it, gives it a couple turns, and then it kind of pushes it back up inside the grapevine so you don't see it.
So I'm still looking at my line. Right? We've got it all flowing here, keeping it all going, and then obviously at some point we have to cut up into the sign to make sure that it falls in place. So I kind of like that one right there.
Yep. And the hole punch is really small. It's like a 1.5 to 2 millimeter, just big enough to feed the
Wire in, or a pipe cleaner.
Or pipe cleaner.
Yeah. You don't have to use floral wire. You can just use pipe cleaner. Okay. So there we go. Remember, all of our florals are on wire so that you can pick them up and give them their own space. I like to just keep my leafy greens below that. We'll be fluffing our bow again.
That's I love how you keep such a neat, tidy workspace.
I try.
Makes it easier as viewers to focus on what you're doing and not distracted by clutter.
I'm trying. Then I haven't decided. I got these. Look, this is a bundle from Michaels. Isn't that beautiful? They've added everything you need if you are doing a much smaller wreath. So everything is color coordinated for you if you need help with coordinating the colors. These are ranunculus with some boxwood added to them, some little ferns, little berry bushes. I'm feeling like that goes a little bit towards the darker side. Let me find what else I'm looking for. And then we have orange ranunculus if we wanted to go more orange, but I'm feeling like we need to start going small. So that being said, we need to go down a bit. Now, Shinoda, which is a wholesaler out here in California, had these smaller sunflowers with the little buds added to them. I love these. So let me just remove one.
Rosin said, I'm currently in Newfoundland, Canada on vacation, but brought some fall supplies to make it.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Nice, nice, nice. I am going to remove the leaves because they are too far down the bottom of my stem.
Rosalind, I've never heard of this. She said, can you please make a spider bow on a line?
What is a spider bow? I'd have to look that one up. I don't know what that is.
And Lita, yes, based upon the sign, she'll go and pick florals.
Well, I didn't. I knew that I had an orange, reddish kind of sunflower. So every time I was out at Michael's or Joann's or Hobby Lobby or even Shinoda, I was looking for orange sunflowers. So I kept telling Steve, I've got to find orange sunflowers. I have this sign. I've got to work on this, design. It's like haunting me because I can't find the florals for it. So,
I know you miss Shinoda.
Huh?
We will miss
We will miss
Shinoda.
Shinoda. I'm going to go ahead and pull these off.
Tracy says, I'm looking for a color wheel.
Well, you can print one straight off of, just Google, search a color wheel. You can print one, or you can, if you go to someplace like,
Amazon sells color wheels.
Amazon does. Yeah. But it's just like, what are you using the color wheel for? Are you using it to help you with matching florals while you're out and about? Right. Then obviously, I didn't like the way that one was in there. Kind of like it like that. And then we'll use the smaller piece. This is where Kat is customizing florals.
Maybe I love what you're putting together.
Thank you. So let's come in with the little one. See, we've got those eucalyptus turning again. So all you have to do is just reach in wherever they're attached and turn them. So you have.
Trendy Tree did have them. Yeah, I was looking at Trendy Tree.
What color wheel?
For color wheel, yeah.
Gotcha.
She said she's looking to match florals and ribbon.
Okay.
It's good for decor too.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just coming in and taking my leaves, just kind of running that across the top of my skillet, and then just kind of tucking them in. Because sometimes they just don't want to lay where I want them to be. This one is still twisting. There we go. Okay.
Debbie, thanks for asking. My birthday was good. We didn't do too much. Went out to dinner.
Yeah, we're just waiting. Waiting. So I'm going to do this at the top. So I'm feathering it out with my little orange sunflower. So this is going to kind of come in here. This is what I mean, feather out. So we started large, we're going medium, now we're going to the small. Lord knows we don't need it that big. Okay.
Kathy, she doesn't miss a thing. She said, okay, you will miss your note. Are you moving out of Cali?
We're waiting to see if we are. We kind of don't put our hopes into all of anything because we know, we'll move when God says it's time. So we're looking, but whether or not we're going to do anything anytime soon is entirely up to him at this point. So same thing, dragging my leaves for my sunflower.
Thank you, Rita. She said the wreath is very pretty.
Thank you, Rita.
Hi, Anna. She said, hello, everyone. Love this wreath.
Thanks, Anna. Okay. We've added that, a little touch. I think what I'm going to do is there's 2 little pieces on this pick with those little beginning heads. Of course, one's got the price tag. It always does. Let's go ahead and remove that so we can actually use it. Save all your greenery, because if at the tail end, like all this little leaves and stuff that I have going on here, if I want to include those, I can definitely add them to the end. I'm going to take this one and pop this one out to the other side.
Hi, Charlotte. No worries. It's RMA. Just got to work. That's so pretty.
Thank you. So there's that. We'll keep this. Let me see what we like. I really love all this greenery with the ranunculus added. So let me remove the bottom because it feels a little heavy to use towards the end. Let's look at how, let's push it up just a touch. I'm just looking for it to fit in so I can, do I want it more down? But bring the flower up. I kind of like that, so I'm going to put that there. I'm going to move my floral up. There we go, just slid nicely in place.
Teresa said that's one of her favorite flowers.
What, sunflowers? I love ranunculus. So let's see if we can find that other piece with the boxwood with the ranunculus on it. Why is that? Like all of them, we're gonna have to splice our piece together because there's one that, like they have the berries, but not the Ranunculus. So we'll pull these apart. We will fabricate something that matches like what we did at the bottom. It's not that it was missing, it was just that the rest of them are done with the berries. If it will go in. Let me take this down just a bit more. There we go.
And I'll find that little piece you cut off in about 2 weeks.
No, that's not true. That is so not true. And I'm gonna let that one lay right in there, just like that. See how it's gradually feathering things down to a much smaller point. Okay, we're going up, under. We're gonna move this right on the inside. Then it's great because we have lots of these little berries, but I'm trying to put them like only where they make sense. Meaning places like maybe in here. See what I'm saying? It's like a perfect filler. So that made sense. So let's go in, tuck that in. We'll do the same on the opposite side. Let's find another one of those little berry bushes. I am going to use this one right in here. There we go. Nice filler. And then I have a ton. It's funny, these, they almost look like rose petals. So I'm going to go through and split them. Got that one done. So let me go ahead and do this one so I can show you what I'm doing. So I'm just going to break these apart where they were like kind of on the stem together. And I love this avocado color. So it's nice because I can take it and add it where I want some more green, a little less orange. So wherever you're like, oh, it just feels like there's so much orange there, take one of your florals, kind of tuck it up underneath and go, do you like that color contrast a little bit better? I do. So I'm gonna go way up under, tuck that down right on top. Still trying to get that one leaf that just does not want to stay flat. It's being difficult. Okay, we'll add some more. I think I have one flower that actually is, I'm going to use a little closer to that side. So run this back through. Tuck that underneath. Wherever you feel like you need a different change in the colors, like where it feels like, hey, this is just a little too orange. I want to add a little pop of green underneath there. Feel free to do so.
Thank you, Tracy. She said this is simply beautiful.
Thanks, Tracy. I'm gonna do it with one that's a little nicer piece. And wherever you see additional, you know, green space or brown space, and you're like, oh, I wish I had like a leaf or something to stick in there, feel free to break down your picks.
You also depends on if you want like a tight design or like a loose design.
Yes, so there is compact florals and there is more airy florals. So sometimes people want things a little bit more compacted. They don't want to see spaces between their florals. This is a compact floral design, which means that everything is geared close to the wreath. If you have ones that kind of elongate and stretch out, this would be more like your floral sprays that are kind of coming through. So you can make them any which way you'd like. Okay, let me find the things I was looking for. I brought them in for this very purpose. This is called the hot bush. So Dollar Tree makes these things, and they make them in all different colors, but I wanted some that felt kind of fallish. So this is actually going to go right in underneath here. Remember, we're filling that space, right? We've got to get something to kind of come in here and kind of fill that space a little bit. So I'm going to take one of these hot flowers.
Shreya, the sign is from Personally Yours.
No, the sign is from Personalize It by Pam.
Oh, sorry, Personalize It by Pam. Sorry. She's got her own site on Etsy.
So there's that one. Just got to keep you honest. Keeping you honest, babe. Keeping you honest.
That's fine. You're right. I do get those two confused.
So I'm going to stick this one right in the inside, right by.
Rosalind said, beautiful. I'll have to go back and watch the replay.
Absolutely.
Tracy said, I could listen to you and watch you all night long.
Aw, thanks, Tracy. One of these days, who knows? Maybe we'll do something like that. Like a all-night kind of thing. Just make one thing after another, after another. So I'm kind of adding the little hot bushes where I just want a little pop of something. Kind of pulling them to the outside, and always look at your design from the top, from down below. Look here, look underneath, you know, look under your bow. You know, do you have any spaces where you need to address, you know, something? So like I can pull this back and we can add, you know, a couple pieces of hop because it's that olive green color. That's perfect because these were only $1. So Dollar Tree, believe it or not, has some really great florals if you want them.
Krista said, do you ever spray florals like berries to keep them together or from falling off?
No, I don't. I just make sure that they're glued in really well. And if you keep your, you know, using Gorilla Glue, it's an all temperature glue. So we shouldn't have an issue with anything falling apart or falling off. See, I'm just moving my bow around so I can get some florals in on the underside.
She said, oh, I just love this. Turns we didn't have any power. Thankfully, your power's back on. And then congrats, Shirley. She decided to find out that I'm going to be a great grandma. So excited.
Oh, nice. Nice, nice, nice. These are mini mums, also from the Dollar Tree. So I'm just kind of coming in. Oops, I'm trying to get, these don't have any wires as we get a little closer. They do if you're a little further down the stem, but where I want them, it doesn't really have a stem, so to speak. So I'm trying to cut everything back so I have a surface I can stuff them in. So I'm just using a whole bunch of different filler flowers. Just different colors. And again, these mini moms from Dollar Tree come in red. They come in orange. They come in yellow, white. They come in a plum color. So I'm just picking and choosing random colors and placing them in various places. Let me grab a couple of these. These are mums from Hobby Lobby. So I want these a little bit bigger because they're actually going to sit in bigger spaces. Probably should have cut that one down. Get rid of the wobbly, weak part. So see what I'm doing? I'm lifting things up underneath and looking and seeing,
Fill in the gaps.
Fill in the gaps, but you don't have to be like, fill in every single gap. Just like that. And then finally, right, there's a finally. So mini mums, Dollar Tree, full size mums, Hobby Lobby. I want to add some Pip Berries. Just some little, these are called fillers. So I'm just going to give it some movement by tucking these in. Once they glue, I can bend them into whatever shape I'd like.
Just little small accents, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we're gonna let those dry. Trying to push it in. If it's too long, pull it back out. Oop, pulled that one out. We'll make it a little shorter so it doesn't have to go in quite so far. Let's get our, never fails. Okay, that one we're not using. I swear it feels like a spider's web over here from me dragging this over. Pip Berries are from Factory Direct Craft. They are, you buy them in bundles, so they're super fun to play with.
Charlotte said in her area, grapevines are expensive, so she doesn't make much of a profit when she makes them because of the price.
Because of what?
She doesn't make as much of a profit because her grapevines are so expensive?
The grapevine itself?
Yeah.
What is expensive? Let me start there.
How much are you paying for them, Charlotte?
Exactly. So see how I'm just adding these little Pip Berries just for some movement. We're going to come in under here. Just movement. You can add the olive colored ones as well. Let's break this one down. So we finished the whole bunch.
You said they're around $10 to $12 a piece, depending upon size.
Wow. What about waiting till they go on sale and then ordering them online? Or have you tried to reach out to places like, well, I know Nick's Seasonal Decor sells wreath supplies. Deco Exchange sells wreath making supplies. So maybe reach out to a different source maybe than what you've been using in the past. Let me remove those. I need to add a couple more to the top. So let me snip some of these to add. So we're gonna add some around our bow. And then we'll fluff the bow and you can actually see what that should look like. Our green. So you can see just how adding simple little fillers like the berries. And I'm going to add one more flower right here because I have an opening. So let me add one.
Plus, living in a rural area, people want wreaths.
They want
Wreaths for cheap.
Oh yes, I know that. Living in the same area as you, kind of. I know that feeling when people want them for cheap. They want it to look expensive, but they don't want to pay a lot for it. You know, they want it to look like, you know, $120 or whatever, but then they don't want to pay what that would look like or what that would be worth. Let's just put one right in here. Get this to go under my boxwood. So we've added
the entire color assortment.
Thank you. This is what happens because if you put your glue pot on top of your cutting mat, it will warp your mat and it will bend it and you won't be able to get it back. So we're gonna bend all our berries. Let's fluff our bow because this looks really sad right now. So we're gonna start at the bottom, just like we would if we were fluffing our bow. And then we're pulling up in different ways, different shapes. Give it some life. Breathe life into that. Getting our loops. I'm just kind of tucking this one loop underneath. And then you can adjust depending upon what you want your tails to do. Like I said, you can let them hang long. If you don't want them that long and you want to bring them up a little bit shorter, you are welcome to do that. Like I feel like this one's a tad too long. So let's make this one a little bit shorter. It's always easy to cut them shorter rather than leave them a little long. I didn't cut you all the way through. Now we can see all of our ribbons. And then this one, if we want to curl it, the easiest way to curl and spiral is just roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it, just like this, up to the highest point. Reach in and grab your end and just pull it. And then you have a really nice spiral.
Steffi, that's all 1.5 ribbon.
Mm-hmm. I like working with 1.5 ribbon because it doesn't intrude. It allows my flowers to be the showcase and not anything else. I'm gonna pull this way. So just like that. And there you have it. It is all done. So let me show it to you just like it is. Guess we actually need to fluff the bottom bow. So there is our design in a nutshell. This is our home sweet home fall floral sunflower wreath that you can easily make. Like I said, if you can't color coordinate your flowers or you're not sure what flowers go good together, just buy your flowers already done in an arrangement like, remember how the Ranunculus was already done in a bunch? Buy them in bunches already and just get bunches. Like you can walk around Michael's and put your bunches together and go, those look good together. And that way you know you're getting something that color coordinates a little bit better. So there you guys go.
The curly ribbon look?
Yeah, you can do that. Some people like really long tails. Some people don't like long tails at all. They want everything short. So
give it lots of loves and likes.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. Don't forget to come back on Sunday. Sunday, I believe we're going just a little bit earlier. We're going in at 5. I'm going to show you how to do a lighted Unique in the Creek Christmas wreath. I think that's what's on the event schedule. Double check. If you guys want to be reminded, just make sure you click on the events and make sure, just click yes, you plan on going. And then that way, as long as you have your phone and you happen to be browsing Facebook, then it can notify you whenever we go live.
Shelby said, thank you so much. I have a grapevine drying on the front porch and needed inspiration.
There you go. Hopefully you'll find the inspiration in your sign and then just go from there. All right, everyone, have an amazing weekend, and I will talk to you all on Sunday. Bye for now.